You don't know what's going to come back. So you give it to him. You give it to God. He'll either give it back to you to pursue, or he'll give you freedom from it, because that's what you're praying for. I'm handing this over.
Welcome to the In Between Mama podcast, a place to rest in between who you are and who God is calling you to be. I'm your host, Riley Sandrell, and today I have my beautiful friend, Sarah.
Hola.
Hello. This is our second time recording this episode because of technical difficulties, and
it happens.
Yeah. Thankfully, it was with you.
Hey.
Because we can talk for hours.
Yes,
so,
we can.
Thank you for tuning in today. We're going to talk about a lot of things: identity, healing, seeking God, being a single mom, all the things. So real quick, before we jump into all that, would you just share a little bit about you?
Sure. I am Sarah, and I have 4 children. I had married a man that I knew since the 4th grade. We were together for 16 years and married 12 when we moved here from Detroit. And we moved here to unify our family, when actually what happened was it kind of spiraled out of control. What it did was expose some things that I needed to see that I didn't. I was in my in the trenches, if you will. I have 4 kids in 4 years. And so I was doing the thing, working the grind, taking care of kids, raising them as best I could, and loving my husband as best I could. And so when we moved here, super excited. I love this area, and I would never want to leave. But there have been a lot of things, have had a lot of growth opportunities. When things don't go the way you plan, you kind of just got to roll with the punches and see how God works it out.
Yeah.
So been separated for 5 years and single mom in the whole time.
Yeah.
It's been hard.
Getting scrappy, learning different things, picking up different trades.
Oh, a few trades. I am the Jill of trades.
Yeah. Yeah. Doing all the things. If you need a realtor, a notary,
massage therapist,
literally any of the above.
It's like
Call
the trench
Sarah.
coat lady. I'm like, what you need, what you got.
I love it. So when this episode airs, Lord willing, not the second part, but the first part, if the episode airs, you'll be walking down the aisle, and that's so cool. So exciting.
Yeah.
Before we go to what life looks like right now, 5 years into being here, let's talk about what the last 5 years specifically has looked like, because a lot has happened since you moved to this general Nashville area. So I would love if you talk about like what that process looked like of moving here, and kind of some of the things that got exposed, and then what your personal processes look like since then. Some of the things you've struggled with.
I think what I've learned the most in this time, the 5 years we've been here, is that you can go through the motions for a long time and think everything is just fine. And I'm so grateful that God shook our life. I'm glad that he shook it out, because I see that now. I see people kind of just going through the motions, sleepwalking through their lives, just, the Instagram life or the 5 o'clock wine. I do not oppose any of those things. That was me, but I didn't want that to be it. I guess I just didn't know that until God ripped everything from me. This is kind of like my Job experience. We moved here with the intention of unifying our family. He was traveling a lot, gone a lot. And I was in the trenches, pretty much single mom in it for the entire time I was a mom, and supported him because I'm a great cheerleader. I love to support and to cheer and encourage and spin the dream and all the things, because that's fun for me. Like, I am a future thinker. I am fantastical. All of that stuff is fun for me. And
definitely one of your gifts.
I friend hard, and I give a lot, and created kind of a codependency in that. And a purpose behind needing to be needed, and almost like to my own detriment. So, and my family's, or anyone who really knew me, I was kind of I was gone. I kind of disintegrated in the whole process of being in a family holding it all together by myself. Believed in God, didn't really have a relationship with him though. Just kind of, again, checking the box lifestyle, like going to church because that's what you're supposed to do, you know, and meal plan and play dates and all the things. I wanted more. I just didn't know what that looked like. So when we decided to move here, it was really like a whim experience. We came here in April for our annual anniversary trip. Half of the time I was by myself because he was working. So that was fun, right? So a week of an anniversary trip by myself, but I loved it. Nashville, Franklin area, such a great place. Yeah. Lots of fun, lots of things to see, lots of live music. I fell in love so fast. Everyone waves to you here. It's like, you know, I've learned that bless your heart means something other than that. Anyway, so there's a lot of fun things about the South that I really, really find charming. And the weather obviously is way more mild than Michigan. And so, it took me 38 years to get out of there. What? So anyway, I was really excited about the adventure. My oldest was 9 at the time, and I was like, yes, it's now or never. I'm never going to get an opportunity like this again, because when we fell in love, we decided the next month to list our house.
Yeah.
Sold it. Simultaneously buying this one sight unseen. Like God was in it all the way. He didn't just crack the doors open. He flung them wide open off the hinges. Like we were like, oh yeah, this is what we're supposed to do. So of course I'm on fire, super stoked. But in the process was isolated, wasn't able to serve in church, wasn't able to get too crazy about making friends in the community at the pool and everything. I mean, I made a few friends, but ultimately my focus was to be wife and mom, to the end of we're going to make this family better, tighter than it's ever been. And I was all for it. I was willing to make whatever sacrifices to that end.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he was gone 3-4 nights a week building his business. So I was alone a lot. But in that time, I do believe that God made a way for me to find him, to go to him rather than out. I went up.
Yeah.
I hit my knees a lot more. And so like my relationship with him grew certainly, but it was in a time of confusion and we're obeying you, God. Like you did this. So why is this happening? Yeah. So, and more was uncovered in that time. Just a little after a year of being here, we were officially divorced. It was really hard. And so like I felt like a kid leaving her house for the first time, having to get a job, having to go back to school, all these things.
Committing to staying here, the place that you just moved your family to a year prior,
no community,
rather than going back to what you had known for you said 38 years. That's brave. That's big.
Oh, well, thank you. I wouldn't have said that at that time. I think I just didn't want to go back to the snow. I think that might have just been enough.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Whatever it takes. But yes, the sweetness of finding God in the process of the hard, of the struggle, of the storm, was really sweet. And I had this relentless faith that everything was going to be okay. That's kind of how I rode my life, you know, just kind of rode the wave of faith, not knowing what that really meant. I just always thought everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to work out. It's going to be fine. I've never been an anxious person or super stressed out, but you know, after having kids and doing the whole family thing, you find in the back of your closet that you never knew you had was this Wonder Woman cape, and like you got to put that on, and that's such a lie. It is such a lie. I think that was my biggest detriment, was trying to do it all. Trying to do it all, be my children's saviors. I mean, I married my husband to save him, so there's this savior complex part. I mean, I contributed to the brokenness because it's not my job to fix anyone. It's just my job to love them. And I did try my best, but you know, I contributed to the breakdown. But even so, here we are.
Yeah, but all of that was kind of uncovered, peeled back over the last few years as you faced, okay, this is my new reality. Now, God, what do you want to teach me in this? You were very, in most circumstances, like open hands, open heart of like, okay, do anything with this current situation because I've got nothing.
No, he was definitely on my side. You can ask my lawyer. I don't know that she's a believer, but I always kind of loved how she's a 60-pound Memphis lady and probably 70 years old, and she'd be like, well, I'm glad God's on your side. And I loved it because she got to see him work.
Oh, yeah.
This is not a normal outcome in Tennessee, the way the divorce worked out.
I still tell people about your divorce. I still tell people about your divorce
God's
because
protection.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the investigative type. Things that came to my mail, things that came to my inbox, things that just came to me without me looking for it is what got me the outcome that we got. I mean, he really has protected us and provided for us. I struggle some days to remember that, you know, it's like manna from the sky, and I like, oh yeah, that's right. Bread fell from the clouds, and I'm still struggling to believe you, God. Please forgive me, because I'm human, I'm flesh, and I sometimes, you know, I take my children's future and their I care so much, and sometimes it really hurts to care as much as I do, because none of it's in my control. None of it is. It's so hard to want something so bad for them that you can't. So, like, thank goodness he's trustworthy and faithful, because
and he loves them somehow even more than you do. Yeah.
On days I do believe that, though. There are plenty of days.
Yeah, I can relate. So just over a year ago now, you kind of really dug into facing your pain. And I don't know if it was fully voluntary or if it was a little bit forced. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Like, what this last year has really been like? What has God shown you? How has your perception of God changed?
I will be very candid in that while I never doubted God, did I get angry at him, though.
Yeah.
I was lamenting, never understood what that actually was until I decided, you know what? You're getting it all, God. Take it, leave it, like it, don't. I don't care. This is what I got. I'm bringing it to you. And a lot of times it didn't make sense. Come into the throne did not make sense. I was probably swearing a little too. Like, he was so patient and loving. I kept getting this vision in my mind of him, like, stroking my hair, rubbing my back while I'm like devastatingly sobbing in his lap, just like my head buried in my arms. Like, that is an image I still get. But I think over the last year or so, just being raw, like I'm raw with everyone else. I'm really a real person. I feel like there are things that people, and I can only speak for me, I just know that I am a human. I go through things, everything like everybody else goes through. So why would I try to hide it?
Yeah.
I want to be someone who you can approach, someone you can be yourself around. So it starts with me being myself.
Absolutely.
And I can't be happy, sunshiny all the time. And you know what? If I'm trying to make someone happy who's not, I'm not really serving them at all.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, hey, I'm not comfortable around your mess. So let's clean that up, make you laugh. Let's do something that makes me feel better about you not feeling great. No, I bring it all. So over the last year or so, I mean, I've always been an open book, always been vulnerable, transparent, always been willing, never really held anything too sacred, which is unfortunate because I do matter. I have empathy for myself. I'm a survivor. Like, there's a lot of things I see that God's done in me that I respect myself more, love myself more. I'm not totally on board with the whole self proclamation necessarily. There's no way I got here by myself. I had to hang up that cape and give it to God. Yeah. But I think in the last year, being really angry with him, really having it out with him, he welcomed it because it was true and it was real. He can handle it. He can handle it. Yeah. Like, he's not a wimpy guy. Okay. Yeah. He can handle it. And I think because I was able to release that to him, he freed me. Still have a lot of strongholds I'm working through. I mean, you have to take those things captive because they're lies.
Yeah,
they're lies.
And it's a moment by moment taking it captive, second by second.
Second by second.
Yeah.
Yes, that has been the most liberating thing, having walked in recovery in the last year, going to Celebrate Recovery. It's a ministry that I actually am really grateful for. But
we've both been a part of it. Yeah.
The Serenity Prayer is life-giving. Look it up if you don't know it. There is like
the full version.
The full version is
not just
key.
the AA version.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's beyond just knowing the difference between what you can control and what you can't, and having the courage and all of that. That is awesome. Recite that over and over. But if you look up the full prayer, it is so liberating in that you discover this life isn't about 5 years from now. It's about right now. And it's about one day at a time, giving it to God and just trusting that all things will go the way it's supposed to. That it was such a liberating thing for me, especially being a mom who wants the most for their children and wants to see them contribute to the world and to God's kingdom and be decent contributing adults.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's even life-giving for us dreamers who
that's exactly what I mean. I'm always in the future.
Yeah. Well, even for ourselves though,
Yes.
like we're dreaming for ourselves,
Yes.
and it's really hard not to get wrapped up in that when the world is telling us like, dream big, go after your dreams, figure it all out. And God tells us we don't have to figure out literally any of it. We just have to walk in obedience moment by moment.
And because of that freedom, I've been able to, take the knocks, because the hard knocks they haven't stopped coming.
Yeah.
You know this.
Yeah.
Like just yesterday. Okay.
Yeah.
So like there's things that keep happening. But I keep giving it to God. It's been a process. It's been hard.
Yeah.
At one point, I think it had to get to a point of desperation. It had to get to a place of, it was just, I was in a bad way when I decided I needed to do something different. I needed to surrender. I needed to just see what God had for me and just trust him in it, not try to do it all. I mean, we're talking finances, career, we're talking about all these things that we can't let go of because we think if we do, we're going to let everyone around us down.
Yeah.
And, or at least that's how I feel. I can only speak for myself. My biggest fear is letting people down. But I've learned that God doesn't care about my failure. He just wants my faithfulness. And what I've been and always have been is someone who is radically obedient. We got here on obedience.
Yeah.
I just trust him. I just wish sometimes I was in on his little plan and all that. Can we have a few chapters ahead of time,
please? That would be nice. So with that, how do you feel like God has transformed the identity part of it for you? Because you talked about earlier being needed and sometimes to a fault. How has that changed throughout all of that?
Well, in recovery, you still have to be careful not to identify yourself as someone who's codependent, someone who's lonely, someone who's angry, someone who's suicidal, someone who's whatever the case is. It is important that you are aware of some strongholds that you have that you can release to God and really take captive any thoughts that support it, because they're lies. Yeah. For me, the easiest thing and the longest thing I've done is believing the lies, because those are just easier to believe. Yeah. But the identity in that I am the daughter of a king, not just a king, the king of kings, and that he is my Father in heaven who adores me, who has made me, knit me in my mother's womb, made me fearfully and wonderfully for a purpose, for his glory. You know, so my identity has to be that and only that. Not even the mother of my kids, not even as an encourager and inspirer, or good friend. Those are good things, and God will continue to bless those things. But to literally lay all of it down, and whatever comes back is blessed. Yeah. I have to let it all go, and it's not easy. One day at a time, again, I'll tell you, is a gift, because I fail a lot. I fail a lot during...
Well, and it's not intrinsically who you are. Those are roles that you play, and those roles are gifted to us, and at any time they can be taken. Not to say that God is just this that's a whole other conversation of like the give and take and he's punishing you or anything like that. That's not what that I'm saying in that. Rather, it's so easy to make those things our identity. I mean, even on social media, it's constantly like you go through everyone's bios and it says wife, mother of X amount of children. And even I struggle in that of trying not to put my entire identity in these roles that I play. Yeah. Because you have to surrender those roles back, because guess what? You're still not going to do good enough in those roles to ever live up to this, what your self-worth really needs to be. And that only comes from God in a healthy way.
I mean, we can only really truly be who he's designed us to be with his leading us, with his prompting us, and us being obedient in that. Yeah. Like, he has to be it for us. Yeah. Nothing else, no one else, just him. Like, he is enough. Yeah. He's all we need. And that's so hard in a culture that bombards you with self. And you feel like it's, I mean, my handle used to be one you, be you, and I still really love that, because God did design each of us differently. He did weave us in a way that could inspire and be a gift to others. Yeah. For his glory, for others' good. We are here to serve others. But as long as I'm giving it to him and just taking what is returned back, that's all fine and good. But we can get so wrapped around people's perception. It's fear of man versus fear of God. You know, just
if I don't show up, the world's going to fall apart.
I'm going to let people down. Yeah. That is the biggest thing for me. I don't want to let people down. Yeah. I don't want to do it, but that's not in my power to know, to stop.
And their response is their responsibility.
Right. Yeah. And so you go back to the identity thing. In the last year, I did attend Celebrate Recovery. I was in recovery for codependency, control, and loneliness. A big key, I guess I can go into this, because like you hear it all the time. As soon as you let go, as soon as you don't think about it, as soon as you give it to God, you're going to be so blessed. And I'm like, okay. And so she
did not, in fact, believe me when I told her this.
Not just Riley, lots of people. And I'd be, you know, I'm an open book. So I'll be, you know, apparently, I believe. Thank you. That's so sweet. You're so sweet. Anyway, so, like, literally was good. I was in a good place finally. Yeah. And this is an example of, and I didn't think about it at the time. I wasn't like, okay, let's give this a whirl. Riley said it would work, so I'm going to do this. It wasn't even that. It was, my heart was in a place where I could finally let go. Yeah. Literally let go. Like, let it go. Yeah. Of my desire to be with someone, to partner with someone. And I do think at first it started as, even if I do find someone, are they gonna be that great? I mean, I've got enough trauma in my life. I've got 4 children. I don't need to like recreate this perpetual disaster of a relationship for them to be around. Like, there's just too much at stake here to just be with someone, because I'm incomplete without someone. So I was in my heart feeling like it started as, I just don't know that there's a guy out there. Yeah. It started that way. But then I was like, well, who needs one? Who needs one? Sex is great, but like, other than that, what's the purpose? So I just was like, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be fine. God's got me. I mean, you can't help but crunch the numbers a little bit. But even then, I was like, it doesn't matter. God's got this. Yeah. I got to a place where I was able to fully surrender it, give it right back to him, lay it at the cross, and just let it lie.
Yeah. And that took time. It took experience,
so much time.
And it took a lot of
of give and take. Yeah. Like I would grab it back or just hang on to the corner of it. Like, I'll just hang on a little bit. Yeah. No, but I let it go completely. I was resolute to be single forever, or at least until my kids were gone, so that they could be adults and not have to like worry about the drama that I brought in the house. Yeah. But like, literally was good with it. Yeah. Was good with it. was jamming out to classic rock on the way to work, wearing bandanas on my head, feeling young, and like working out again and eating better and like just feeling really good about life and being okay with being just me, thinking I'm a pretty cool person if I got to be stuck with someone.
Yeah.
It's me. It's fine. We'll be fine. Everything's fine. So it was not that long after.
Yeah, not long at all.
That he like put Brandon in my path. So it was like,
yeah,
okay, I gave it back, and he like blessed me, like huge blessed me, like everything I prayed for in this man.
Yeah. And it's not like an equation. It's not a guaranteed thing.
No, it's
and
not
it's
gonna
just
work
a
all the
beautiful
time.
gift that you have been given.
And I feel seen, and I feel loved. Like you said, I didn't do it to get something out of it. Like I was pretty certain nothing was going to come back. Like
I can confirm.
She was done.
She was done.
I was done. There is not like the sea of heavenlies out there, I'll tell you. So it's entertaining. Entertaining. But other than that, like I was not hopeful at all. And so, but I also wasn't like, I don't know. Anyway, it was a huge gift. One I did not see coming, which I think is key. I wasn't expecting anything in return, but I got something way beyond what I could have ever dreamed.
Yeah.
And I'm super, super thankful for that. So that's just an example. And so because I've done that already, knowing my identity is in him, seeing that what I've already given to him, he's given me back. And it doesn't mean he'll do that every time, but I can trust him. He is trustworthy. He is faithful. He loves me very much. He knows what's going to be the best thing for me and my family. And I can trust that even if I have other ideas.
Yeah.
I've been shown that I can let those things go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so why am I still having trouble doing that? I don't know, but I'm a work in progress, just like everybody else. So.
Yeah. No, the tagline of this podcast is I'm neither at the beginning nor the end of my transformation.
Yeah.
And we're never going to be at the end, at least on this side of heaven.
Yep.
And that's kind of a relief. Like, I can show up and I can do my best. That's not permission to like not do anything, but we have grace and there's room to grow.
Yeah.
So how has this translated into like the now? Because obviously, which you kind of talked a little bit about that, but real life, real chaos, the high of that original like recovery, like I'm doing great, it wears off. And we're still in like the moment by moment. So how does some of that translate to like, you know, like you're getting married, obviously, but you're still a single mother in this season right now. You're still their mother and you're still tackling that kid-wise. Do you have any words?
So love is patient, love is kind. You know that verse.
Yeah.
That beautiful, great verse that if you've recited to me, I'd be wanting to punch you in the face because clearly I'm not demonstrating that kind of love. I think that if we can remember that, like truly remember that, there's nothing I can give to my children that's going to impact them for good, even when they're treating me a certain way or not responding in kind, is love. That's it. That's it. Because they're ultimately God's kids. And I've always said this, you know this. My greatest cop out of all time is, well, God loves them more than I do. And he's got them because clearly whatever I do, whatever I say, it's not going to necessarily make much of a difference. So all I really can do, what is in my power and in my control, is love them.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't feel like it's in my power or in my control to do that.
Yeah.
Like I need Jesus.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll just say Jesus.
Yeah.
Because he needs to come right now.
Yeah.
He needs to come right now. And I turn my prayers from change this thing.
Yeah.
Change this child monster to change my heart. Soften my heart. And I still fail every day because they come with new material every day. And each kid is different. And you can't parent them all the same. It's like, you think you got to figure it out. And then all of a sudden, wait a minute. You're changing the script on me.
I know. I literally told a friend the other day that I feel like my toddler is training in psychological warfare. Like it's just when I think I have like the answer to nip whatever is in the bud, it's like he comes at me in a completely different way, like coming from the ceiling.
Who
I'm like,
are you, Spawn?
Yeah,
who are you?
Yeah.
But I do feel like children are our greatest gift in sanctification and in the refining fire.
Yeah,
because it's a picture of how God puts up with us when you think about it. Like, I have probably had the worst toddler tantrums, even in my 40s. And he's like, oh, Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah, my sweet child.
Yeah.
Because he's a lot nicer parent than I am.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm just saying, I think it is a real true gift for us parents to actually see just how much the Father loves us.
Absolutely.
And I think we just have to, it's not easy, but we have to just lean in and trust that everything's going to be fine. Staying in our lane just means to love. You're not going to be able to control their response, just like you can't control the cashier's response or your friend's response or your mom's response. You can't control anyone but yourself. And even sometimes you can't control that. Yeah. And I'm talking about me.
Yeah.
But like, loving them is the best advice I can give you. Yeah. Anyone.
Well, and then that also goes back to the whole identity thing of like being able to own that helps you be able to own the fact that their contribution to the world, who they are when they step outside of your house, is not a reflection of who you are or your worth.
That is such a hard thing.
I'm not in that season yet because they have to walk. Are. Well, yeah.
You are, because if you go to Aldi and they are throwing a freaking fit.
That's true.
You think everyone thinks I'm a terrible mom.
Yeah, no, that's true.
You just do.
Yeah.
You take responsibility for the wrongs they
perform. No, you feel guilty if your infant's crying too loud. Yeah.
It's just perpetuated in our life. We cannot get around it. Yeah. But we can if we make a conscious effort to, like, they know that they're loved. They are prayed for every day. They know right versus wrong, kind versus unkind. I am doing the best I can. Yeah. God, take the wheel. Yeah. You know? Yeah. What they do isn't on us. Yeah. But we can discipline and love, because we're not loving them at all if we don't.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah. I mean, we still have a job to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, and unfortunately, we don't ever get to clock it out.
Man, wouldn't we be rich if we got paid 24 hours a day? I mean, talk about overtime.
Yeah, seriously. So one more question before I want you to quickly share your little meet cute story. Any advice for the woman who is walking in, she doesn't maybe know it yet, or she is just finding out, walking in that spot that you were at 4.5 years ago, where you're having to face, my marriage is ending and I have to go somewhere from here, feeling hopeless, abandoned, forgotten, overwhelmed, all of those things. If you'll just go back to that place for just a second and think about what any words that you would tell them.
I mean, in that time, I'm a fighter, y'all. I'm not gonna give up on anybody. I wasn't gonna give up on Dave. I wasn't gonna do it. I wasn't gonna give up on him. Yeah. I married him to fix him, damn it, and I was gonna do it. Yeah. I was going to save him. Yeah. Okay. I did say I contributed, right? Because that was my contribution. Certainly had to have felt lonely being married to me because he was never quite good enough or whatever. Like, I take full responsibility for that, repented, asked for forgiveness. And and
that's not reason that doesn't mean any of it was justified.
No. But all that to say, I was never going to give up on him, but you cannot stand for or allow abuse. You just cannot. And I don't care in what form it comes. Yeah. You do not get to let it continue.
Physical, emotional, psychological, all of it.
Name it.
Spiritual.
Name it. It's not okay.
Yeah, no.
I gave it to God because I had to. Yeah. I was a mummy. I was a mommy, but I was a mummy. Like, I was just surviving life. And that is not For someone who knows me, you know that I'm not just a survivor of life. Like, I want to thrive. I want to flourish. I want to impact. I want to be something, make the most of the gifts God's given me, make the most of the day I was able to wake up in, all the things. I was gray skies for so long. Did not recognize myself, put on the best face I could, but I got to a place where this is just not what I signed up for. And it's not because I was giving up. It was because I had to choose which road to take, because both of them were going to require strength. Both of them were going to require courage. And to be honest, it wasn't because I was trying to save myself. It was because of those kids that I decided to go the route I did. To go the road I went was because I didn't want my boys to think it was okay to treat someone like that, and I didn't want my girls to think it was okay to be treated like that. And I had to do it as soon as possible, basically as soon as we moved here. So my oldest daughter would have been 9, my youngest son was 5, and so it was hard. But they were my motivation. And yet, you know, even in the hardest times, people would be like, well, certainly they should still be your motivation to get out of bed, to get off the couch, because that season was hard. I err on the apathy side. I'm not like super activity driven, like to distract myself. I literally can't get up. And so in that season, I mean, COVID hit right away. I was so excited to turn 40. 2020 is going to be a new decade. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it well. I'm going to kill it. COVID.
Literally less than a month later.
I was not designed to homeschool. Okay? So on top of all the to have to do that, everyone, you know, the pandemic was a gift in a lot of ways because you have to make the most of your circumstances. Like, we don't have control over those things. COVID is a whole nother podcast. However, it's taught me a lot about the quiet, the solitude, the making time and space. You have to be intentional. You have to be with God, to be with your kids, to have even eye contact. Everything's intentional, especially when you don't know who you are anymore. You don't recognize yourself. So my biggest takeaway is trusting the nudging. The Spirit is who got me through it. I couldn't have done it without the Spirit, because I was a crumbled mess. I don't know how to answer that question other than you just have to trust that whatever your intuition, which is the Spirit, is telling you, you need to really adhere to that. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just enough's enough. You can't be the only one fighting. You can't be the only one. It takes two. It is two imperfect people coming together to actually show the love of Jesus. And that wasn't happening. Our marriage was not a picture of Jesus. And so there was, it wasn't what I signed up for. It wasn't the picture I dreamed. And there was a loss. I was grieving a death in my life and my marriage and my kids. Like, I was heartbroken. I'm still heartbroken. I'm still so heartbroken for my kids. Their childhood, I feel like their innocence has been robbed from them. There's just entirely way too much drama in their life. But they're good kids. I know God's got them. He's got me too. And I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for his love, his goodness. And for now, having the freedom to worship him.
So with all of that, let's really quickly cover your adorable story, because it's so cute. But I also I really want people to hear about the really cool redemption part about the doubling and all of that stuff, because I've told that story like 10 times already to random people that don't know you, because it's just so cool.
It is really cool. And, you know, I have to say this too, like, you might find it, I still struggle to believe, am I hearing that from God? or is it just me? Like,
yeah,
you know, like I
well,
still
it's really
struggle.
easy for our minds to be louder and our feelings,
right.
and yeah,
right. But the things and the things that expose themselves, the things that arose in that time. So I was determined to ask Riley. She's helped me make like 3 profiles online. I was not going to meet my man online. Okay. I was not going to do it. But what a fun pastime. Nope. What? Nope. So like online dating is something of its own. I'm not saying it doesn't work for some people.
I met my husband online.
Amen. And I've actually met a lot of people who have and are having children with them, just like you did. And like, I'm not saying it doesn't work. My brother met his wife online. So like, I know that's just the way it is, but I wanted it to be God, dang it. I wanted it to be God. I wanted it to be a God story so badly.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah.
We're both online, but he doesn't make the cut because he's too young. He's too young. He doesn't hit my filters. My filters were so stinking specific. I was just not wanting to waste any time.
It's like we try to build a man.
Yeah, it's what it was. Exactly. I want my avatar to look such and such a way.
Yep.
But like even them, anyway, you can't avatar a husband when you've got the life I have. You just can't. Like,
you can't do that in general.
Well, I know, but still you really try. So I wasn't going to meet my husband online. I wasn't going to do it, but I was still online because it is really entertaining and just to banter with guys. Like I'm relational. I'm home with 4 kids all the time. I don't get out much. So like, it was just fun to banter. And I did go out a couple times just to meet people, learn their stories. Okay. Like fun. My friend Marie matches with Brandon and she tells me about this great guy. He's got depth. He's a great conversationalist. He's really sensitive, all these things. Like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for my date on Friday. And so like that Friday comes along and I text her, are you so excited about your date? I can't wait to hear all about it. She's like, oh, well, actually, we decided we weren't compatible after several hours of texting, and man, he's such a great guy and I just wish it would, but wait, he'd be perfect for you. And she texts him my number and then he texts me within an hour and we went out that night. I kind of took Marie's seat and just went out on that date.
Yeah.
And I was surprised, not my type at all. It had to be God, but like literally every box is checked. I have a long list.
She does.
A long list. And they're not superficial things. They are deep, considerate things, intentional, hopeful characteristics of a human being. And he literally checks every single one. And he is precious in every way. His eyes have my knees buckle. Anyway, so the second time we met was on a Tuesday. He was thinking I wasn't interested. I was thinking he was like, okay, she's too old. Anyway, so we weren't bantering much, and I love banter. Like, we need to banter, but he didn't take the charge. He didn't take the lead on that for the first couple days. But when I reached out to him, it like continued, and he was so grateful because he thought it was a rhetorical question, Brandon. It was. So when I didn't respond to a rhetorical question, he was thinking I wasn't interested when actually he was asking a question at 10:30 at night when I was already fast asleep. So anyway,
oh my goodness.
When I finally text him, he's excited because, okay, maybe she is interested. We go out the next Tuesday. We had a great night, dinner. We rode in his truck. We watched the sunset. He asked if he could hold my hand. Hello. Do people do that still? He did. So I took his hand and it was like, history was made because I was not going to see other people. In fact, I had Riley text the guy I was still dating to say I didn't want to anymore because I don't know how to do that. So I ended up exclusively dating Brandon within a week, and then we were inseparable since. And so we just like it was insane. It was insane. It only had to be God. Like the littlest things we discovered about each other, like all of the same interests, all the things. It was uncanny. And then I had a day in bed. I wasn't feeling great. And I had this vision of me running down the aisle, like the runaway bride look, you know, with the dress flowing behind you, but I'm actually running towards the groom, not away from him.
Yeah.
And it's him. And then later in bed that day, John 10:10 came to my mind, which is something I've clung to. If you need a verse to just recite over and over, this is how we take things captive, is the sword of the Spirit, right? The word of God is the best sword there is, the best weapon against the lies. Yeah. And so the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. He has come that I may have life and have it abundantly. And that is something I've clung to for years. And then I'm like, 10:10, 10:10, October 10th. Yeah, that'd be cool. What if we could swing that? An hour goes by and I'm in the prophetic word, and it's talking about Job and how God doubled his portion. And I'm like, oh, that sounds really great. Wait a minute. I married Dave on 5/5. What? And I started weeping because he said to me, and I'm certain it was him, he said to me in that moment, I am doubling your portion, Sarah. I am doubling your recompense. You are going to be fulfilled because of me, and in this marriage, you are going to show my glory. And I was like overcome. Yeah. I was overcome with his presence, his blessing, and like there's a whole lot of things that come with this day. It was on a Tuesday, the same day that he asked me to hold his hand.
10:10 is.
Yes. Yeah. It's a Tuesday. Yeah. A wedding on a Tuesday is very inconvenient for people. So it confronts our fear of man and my codependency. So like a lot of things we have to give to God here, not take things personally, and just honor the significance of it. Let it be ours. And it's been really, really refining and really, really special, really sweet. And it's coming up fast.
Yeah, it is.
The ring's not even here yet. So, well, it doesn't take the ring to be married. I'm just saying.
No, but I get it. Yeah. I got married really fast too. Not quite as fast as you, but very fast.
Well, I'm old, and yeah, we gotta get somewhere before all this stops working.
Oh my gosh. Sarah for you.
Yep, that's me.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on. Again.
Yeah, no, it's good, babe.
Thank you for listening. I really appreciate just y'all tuning in. This is only the second episode, and I've got a lot more coming, which I'm really excited about. You can find Sarah on Instagram. Can you shout out your handle again?
Yes, it's notmine_his.
Yes, love that. I will link that in the show notes. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at The In-Between Mama. Subscribe to the podcast, leave a review. That's really, really helpful. I'm on your favorite platform. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all the things. And tune in next Tuesday for a special episode with a pelvic floor specialist. And it's going to be really good. We're going to talk about lots of sex, spicy things.
Ooh.
It's going to be a really good episode. Yeah, it's a really good episode. So, yeah, thank you again. And I'll be seeing you soon.
Thanks, Ray.